How were you able to breathe life into the character of Imani? How were you able to channel the voice of a young woman so well, so authentically? Well, Jennifer, that's a good question. I guess you could say I stole it. I ripped it off. Not a literal theft, a spiritual one.
Wow.
That's a scene from Malcolm and Marie, and that's you and John David Washington. You star as a couple. Can you explain to the audience what is going on? Because I was saying to Ryan, in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is probably what it's like when Hollywood couples go home.
Yeah, it's essentially, it's about a filmmaker and his partner. They return home from, the premiere of his film, and he makes the mistake of forgetting to thank her. And it's essentially about the chaos that ensues in the night following this error. And it really, it dives into more of, that kind of leads to them unpacking a lot of different issues within their relationship. And it really is just them going at each other for quite a while until they decide to go to bed. So, and yeah, I don't know. It was, it felt like, to all of us, I think almost like a bit of a play, and that special feeling of being just two actors in one space. And it was an extremely collaborative process. I literally asked Sam to write it for me, and he would write 10 pages at a time, and then he'd call me and we'd talk about it for hours, and then he'd go write some more and then call me and we'd talk about it for hours. And it was, unlike anything I've ever been a part of, being able to produce something, put my own money into something. It can be very scary, but I'm grateful that I did it.
But you mentioned that you go after each other, yeah. But you really go after each other.
Yeah. Yeah, we really go after each other for sure. It's there's funny moments, there's heartbreaking moments, there's intense moments. I think, in a lot of ways, people will probably, find themselves in both of the characters at some point, whether they like that or not. But it really is about, I think, at least for me, it's about gratitude. It's about appreciating the ones in our life that make it possible to do what we do. And that, I think, has really been my overall kind of message for this past year, is just being grateful for all these things that we have, and being able to do the job that we get to do. It's so special, so at least that's my positive takeaway from their crazy night. There is some positivity to be found.
Did you do a lot of rehearsal out in a parking lot?
Yes. Well, yes, we did. We also did our camera test in a parking lot, because obviously we were going back in a time where we needed to make sure that everybody was safe. Safety was the number one concern. So we rehearsed in a giant conference table at a big conference room with just me, Marcel, our cinematographer, Sam, and John David. And we just combed through the dialogue and put it on its feet. And then sometimes we'd carry that out into a parking lot and do rehearsal there, or just talk for hours, about the material, about life, about love, about relationships. And it was so special, I think, really finding the words together. Because when we got there, we didn't even have a third act. So the third act also came while we were kind of shooting. So it was everybody. It was a skeleton crew, so everybody was doing 4 different jobs. I was doing my own hair and makeup and bringing clothes, and everybody was trying to remember their continuity and things like that, because we didn't have a script supervisor or an AD. Nobody was in charge except for us. So we were just trying to figure out how to do it together.
You know what? If you and John David ever want to fill in for us, this is how we roll.
That's exactly how this comes together. You are so talented. We love everything that you're doing. Keep it up, Zendaya. It's great to see you.
Great
Malcolm
to see you.
and Marie premieres on Friday on Netflix. Take care of yourself.
You too. Stay safe.
Me too.
Coming back with Teresa Caputo right after this.